We can't hit the panic button as a team. We can't change our approach. We can't change our at-bats. We just got to go out there and be ourselves and know that with everyone coming back and us getting a deeper lineup, everything's just going to work out how we need it to work out.
Max Muncy is back. We got to get a smile because now he's back on the field too. And first off, we appreciate having you on during the rehab process. You know, I think it's important for fans and for young players to understand that you're still a human, you're going through it, and now you're back. So first off, congrats, Max. Welcome back to the field, off to a booming start again. How does it feel to be back on the field with the Dodgers and have a little success personally and with the team right off the jump?
Yeah, it feels amazing. It was a long couple months for me, especially when you're not really sure exactly what your timetable is, when you might be back, when you're going to be healed. And so to finally be able to get back on the field felt amazing. Not the easiest challenge with that pitching staff the Mariners are rolling out, but, had some success. And so it was fun. And, it was just fun to get the series sweep for the boys out there.
Max, I have so many questions for you, man. I just congratulations first off on everything you've accomplished, man. It was good to see you back in that lineup. I don't think people realize your presence is really missed when you just talk about the quality of at bats that you bring. But I want to go back to you talking about this injury, man. You know, doing my research, reading up, following along. You know, was it oblique? Was it the rib? Like, how frustrating was it at first, not really knowing what you were dealing with, and then once you did find out, how did that ease your mind and get you back, in the flow of things?
Yeah, well, so there was an oblique strain, but it was a very mild one. And I've had a couple of oblique strains in the past, and none of them have ever really been longer than 10, 12 days, and so we weren't too worried about it. But after 4 or 5 days, started to kind of do a rehab process, felt great. And then, there's a setback in there. We let a couple weeks go by. We do the same thing. There's another setback. We let a couple weeks go by. There's another setback. And we're trying to, the whole time we're trying to figure out exactly what's going on because I've been getting multiple scans. Nothing's popping up. Everything looks good. We initially had a thought that I had a bottom rib issue. Because that's sometimes what can cause the oblique problems. And, so I went and got some bone scans, got a bunch of scans on my back, trying to just see anything that was going on. And, we couldn't quite get a pulse on it. And, the whole time I was getting adjusted by, some chiropractors and the trainers and, that wasn't fixing anything. And then, we eventually figured out it was the bottom rib. The oblique was healed, but it was the bottom rib that was causing a lot of problems. So, I'd have 2-3 good days of swinging. And then, after that third or fourth day, I'd wake up and it felt like it was day one of injury. And so we were just starting back over and we're repeating that process multiple times. And it's frustrating, but, Keith Pine, who's kind of a consultant for us, is also a chiropractor. He was finally able to realize, even though I was getting adjusted, we weren't ever setting the bottom rib back properly. And that's what was causing all the issues. And so finally, we got that, and it was extremely painful. And the next day I got an injection right after that. And 2 days later I woke up and it was like I was never even hurt. So it was almost just gone instantly.
That's what I want to talk about specifically. Anybody, I don't know if Cam's ever had one, but non-baseball players might be able to react to this. But as a baseball player, having a rib out of place, what did that feel like when they got it back into place? Because a chiropractor did it to me. I was fortunate I never had any oblique injuries. But what did that feel like when they got it back in?
Extreme pain, but also extreme relief at the same time. It was not very fun, but as soon as it happened, like my hips instantly unlocked, everything felt free, and it was kind of like, oh, we're definitely onto something here. It was a lot of pain, and then the next day, like I said, I got an injection, which that really sucked. It's a really big needle. It's not a lot of fun. So for a day or two, really sore, and then woke up and everything kind of took place and felt great.
Okay, so here we are. You're back. I'm glad you're back. I know your teammates are extremely happy you're back. But one thing that I was always impressed with, you talk about having to come back and face that type of staff. What are some of the things that you did prior to keep yourself so close to game ready, right? People don't know how easy it is to get rusty just off a few days off, but you miss a month, a couple months. Talk about your routine just for a second to keep yourself mentally as close and as ready as you can to come back to be ready to face a staff like that.
Yeah, so I did a lot of standing in on bullpens, which that doesn't do a lot for your timing, but just being able to see the movement on pitches, see the velocity on pitches, that really helps out. I stood in on Walker and Bobby Miller and Gavin Stone, was standing in on those guys all the time, and also trying to give my feedback to them on what I'm seeing on their pitches and just try to help them out. And just did a lot of that throughout the whole time I was hurt. And then also standing, we have one of those traject pitching machines that mimics the motion and the pitches, and it's pretty accurate. It's really, really close to how a pitcher actually throws. So I stood in a bunch on that, just tracking pitches, trying to get any type of timing I could. And nothing simulates actually swinging against a fastball or a breaking ball, but try to do as much as I can to stay close.
What'd you see in the Arozarena Flaherty scuffle / war of words?
Nothing. It was what it was. Randy thought we hit him on purpose. He just hit a foul home run. It's easy to see how you can think that wasn't the case for us. He hit a slider out over. So logically, and you would know this as a catcher, the next pitch you're going to throw is you're going to try to bust him inside. We happened to go a little bit too far inside, and that's really all it was.
I got a question for you on this past series, and everyone tries their best, and it is super difficult to judge every call in real time. But the replay review center from a couple days ago had me reconsidering what I know about baseball. And I will say this, Max, you'll like how social media reacted. It was one of the few times that you can unite all baseball fans together. Mariners fans, Dodger fans, they all were like, wait, Dylan Moore was picked off first. But then, an hour later, they're like, wait, actually, Rivas is out at home. And everyone agreed. Did you guys feel the same way and wonder what was going on? Because it took a while, too.
When we're on the field, they only show one or two camera angles. And depending on where you're at, if we're at Dodger Stadium, they're usually only going to show the replay of the views that look good for us. And if we're on the road, they're only going to show the replays of the views that look good for them. It's part of the people operating the stadium. So we never fully know if we're seeing every single angle that the umpires are seeing when they're in the review room. But in that case the other night, it definitely felt like something was off. But it kind of worked out both ways. But it was definitely unique. I've always thought for us, with being on the West Coast, sometimes those guys are half asleep when they get the call over there in New York. They got to quick get some coffee in them, try to figure out what's going on.
That's how everyone felt. Everyone's like, yo, there's still one game going on, and it's a big one. We need you guys to pay attention and work a little bit quicker. Because obviously, and I did preface this, the replay review is much quicker than when it first started. I'm sure you remember going years back, or at least even just going 5-6 years back and what it is now. They usually get it done pretty quickly, but I don't know. That one was a head scratcher for me. Big shout out to America's #1 meal kit, HelloFresh, for helping us eat good during this busy time of the year for us. With HelloFresh, you get pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. It's home cooking made easy, fun, and affordable.
HelloFresh makes it easy, even for picky eaters like Scott. There's a changing menu of 50 recipes to choose from each week. Customize it to fit your taste. There's protein and veggie swap options too. The recipes are easy to follow. Just choose your delivery day, open your box, cook, and eat.
My house is busy with sports, but family dinners are important. My fam eats better, healthier, and we cook so much easier with HelloFresh.
And for a limited time, kids eat free. Go to HelloFresh.com/FTKids to unlock this exclusive offer. 1 free kids meal per box for 2 months while subscription is active. That's free kids meals just by going to HelloFresh.com/FTKids. Joey Votto announced his retirement yesterday. Do you have an extra appreciation for Joey and what he was able to do? Obviously, not just as a player overall, but in the way that, I don't want to say he changed the game, but I'll get your take on how incredible he was with his approach at all times, not biting at pitches outside the zone, and maybe even shifting the way that some hitters think. Obviously, you've got an incredible eye. So what do you think of Joey as a player?
I think Joey was kind of one of those hybrid players that ushered in the new era that we're in right now. He was a traditional first baseman in terms of he had a lot of doubles, a lot of slug, a lot of homers, drove in a lot of runs, but he was also part of the new age that, on base percentage really mattered. And, he was the king at that. He was constantly right at the 400 on base mark, over the 400 on base mark, which is really incredible. And, that's kind of where things are at nowadays, where, people care more about on base than really your average, but he did all of it. And, he was kind of one of the guys that helped usher in the new era of baseball. And, Joey was always, he was always good to me, but it was always interesting conversations when you talk to him at first base. You never know exactly what you were going to get. You could probably flip a coin and still not land on something that he was going to talk about. I think I just got a little connection cut out there.
Yeah, there was a little. Just go again, Kratz. It was just a little hiccup.
Okay,
Go ahead.
You have any good Joey Votto stories from first base or BP, anything like that you had interaction with him?
I won't get too much into it. It's tough because I don't like to talk about what people talk about out there. It's it's between us. But there was one time where I got on first and Joey's talking to me and he's like, "Hey man, where are you from?" I was like, "From Texas, Dallas Fort Worth area." It's like, "Oh man, that's pretty cool." And 2 pitches go by and he looks at me. He's like, "Hey, so like, are you big like jeans and boots guy? Like, is that what you like to rock?" And I was kind of like, "Well, I got them in the closet. I wouldn't say I wear them every day, but they're definitely in the closet." He's like, "Oh man, that's sweet. Yeah, you got to rock those all the time." It just kind of like a interesting conversation that had nothing to do with baseball, and he kind of loved to do that.
That is so Joey. Just like random stories that you're like, I'm not sure if he's going to ask me about my approach or jeans and boots. Do you think people will be like, okay, well, Max Muncy, he's got a great eye and his batting average isn't as high, but Joey doesn't hit as many home runs as Max Muncy. Do you think a guy like Joey Votto, because this was kind of a knock if you listen to Cincinnati, media, Cincinnati broadcasters, hey, we need Joey to expand the zone a little bit to hit more homers and to drive more runs in. Do you think, not saying his skill, he couldn't have done it, do you think that would have taken away from his legacy, his career, his successfulness?
I don't know. It's a tough question. I don't think it would take it away from him, but that is what made Joey Votto was the fact that he just had an unbelievable eye. He got on base all the time. He didn't expand the zone, and that's what made him so tough. And there's always a lot of conversation, at least for me, when you look at guys like that if they expand the zone, then all of a sudden they're chasing pitches and they're not doing what they do best, and that also takes away from the guys around them, and it doesn't allow them to do what they do best. And that's something that I've always said about me is that I'm going to strike out. I'm going to get out a lot. I know my average isn't always high, but I'm up there and I'm averaging 5-6 pitches in a bat. That's a lot of pitches that a guy has to throw to me, and it allows the guys around me to not have to worry about, oh, well, we need to work on getting his pitch count up, so I have to purposely take a pitch. Like, that's why I'm there. And I feel like that was something that, for a lot of those teams when Votto was younger, that was something that helped out a lot with them too, is he's up there taking pitches, but he's also going to do damage. And that allows the people around him, whether it was a Brandon Phillips or a Jay Bruce or, all of those guys to just kind of be themselves also.
Listen, this is a great way for me to end this and ask this question, because I think you are spot on. I call those team at-bats, and those go a long way, especially going down the stretch. And I feel like not having you in the mix there for a second, I feel like guys kind of got out of who they were a little bit, and I think that's where you were missed. Just tell me this, going down the stretch, simple question. What do the Dodgers need to do other than getting healthy to go out here and win the World Series this year?
Well, man, you did nail it with just getting healthy. we got some pitchers banged up. We still got a couple position players banged up. It's just, getting healthy is obviously the first point, but staying within ourselves and not trying to do too much. Just play our game. Don't try to play anyone else's game. We got a tight division race. We can't focus on, what the other teams are doing. And if we do that, if we start, scoreboard watching, then you start hitting the panic button. You start making decisions that aren't the correct ones for us. And I think that's just, as a team, we can't hit the panic button as a team. We can't change our approach. We can't change our at bats. We can't change our game plan on the pitching side. We just got to go out there and be ourselves and know that with everyone coming back and us getting a deeper lineup and getting some more options on the pitching side, everything's just going to work out how we need it to work out.
It's great to see you back, dude. Appreciate you swinging right by a few days into your return. I'm glad that you're healthy and thriving right off the jump. Congrats on the sweep. Looks like Kratz is telling me he needs to say something before you go. Yes.
Let's go.
Right when you came off the IL, first game, did you get that hair did? Did you get shaped up? Or were you like, no, I'm coming out of the – be honest.
I mean, as you can see, I still got it coming down here. I said I was going to shave as soon as I got healthy. That was kind of a thing that I was just going to let it grow until I got healthy because, my wife's not a huge fan of the beard getting too long. She likes the beard. She doesn't like it being long. So it's kind of hey, this is almost a more incentive to try to get healthy and get back. But I don't know. I just kind of rolled with it, and now it's working. So now we got to go playoff beard. We got to get it ready for that.
Yep.
Exactly. I was going to say, now you get too close to October, then you're just not allowed to shave it. So at this point,
then it's a bad look.
All right. Well, we'll check in. We'll have you on at least once before we get to playoff time. So we'll see where we're at that point. But Max, thanks again, man. Good luck in the upcoming series. All right.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Hey, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.